up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here in action with this vehicle that has some power that I think is going to surprise you. This is it. This is a 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge Ultimate. But before we get into this three-row, mid-size, plug-in electric hybrid SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. I think a lot of times people forget that when you're looking at luxury brands, one brand that kind of sneaks right through the cracks is Volvo. Volvo, obviously doing their thing for decades, has really kind of made their stance on electrification. If you look at their performance brand Polestar, all those vehicles are pure BEVs, battery electric vehicles, but what they've also been doing is on their Volvo lineup itself, not only having the ICE, which is internal combustion engine vehicles, but also having part electrification added to it. Now we are on the cusp of something new coming from Volvo. We brought it to you at CES, and if you have not seen that video, I will leave it at the end of this one. What is it? It's the all-new EX90, which is their first electrified, full electrified, Volvo's first electrified three-row SUV. So what I want to find out is, should you be buying one of these, this XC90 Recharge, or should you wait for the EX90 pure electrification? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Volvo and find out. Right off the bat, it has that familiar Volvo design to it. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see that we're still having some great lighting effects. You got your full LED headlights, that Thor's hammer of a turn signal and a daytime running lamp. Down below, we do have some functionality in this corner area to help bring cool air for the heat exchangers. One thing comparing this to the new EX90 is that you're gonna see that they did such a great job taking this overall design, making it smaller. And what's cool is that Thor's hammer actually splits to showcase the headlights instead of the headlights being permanently displayed like you see here. Now, as we come across that center grille, lots of history with that badge. You got your forward-facing camera that they actually hid in the badge itself. I like the way you got a nice little concave shape to the vertical split design, little bit of chrome, little bit of metallic silver, and then chrome around the perimeter. Now, if you look at the EX90, there's no reason to have a top portion grille area, but they did a very creative way to try to keep this overall flow, even though they're going pure battery electrified. Now, working your way down, we do have full functionality on the lower portion. I like the way they did the lip in the same body color, and they didn't put a bunch of chrome. This is enough chrome. I don't need any more chrome down here. Glad that they just left it body colored. Now, when we get up onto that long, low slung hood, you'll see those divots that they put on each corner. Gives it a nice clean look, but also giving it some style as well. Definitely, when you look at the front of one of these, say compared to a BMW, it's got a cleaner design. Some people would say it's bland, but definitely cleaner on a Volvo compared to, say, a BMW or a Mercedes. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire steps. So you're gonna get these 21-inch wheels, machined aluminum, gloss black. Obviously, with this being a plug-in electric hybrid, you are gonna have some regen braking. This does have the optional air suspension, all four corners, to give you a nice, comfy ride. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire on these wheels? 275 on the width, pretty meaty tire. Of course, you got a 40s series sidewall, and I love the way that they color match the fender flare. No flat black. Let me know if you think that's a big 2 thumbs up. I'm definitely digging it. Plus, of course, you have the adaptive suspension with the air ride suspension that's gonna tweak its thing while you're driving down the road. And don't forget that this is all-wheel drive. So you're gonna have power going to the front wheels and power going to those rear wheels. Now, as we rise up and we kind of spin around, you do have electric folding power mirrors. Very interesting how they shape their mirror housing, but it is all color matched. Little tiny slither of LED lighting. You're gonna have bright, shiny metalwork top and bottom, color matched on the door handles. And I do like the way they take the Recharge name. Instead of putting a badge stuck on the side. Look at the way that they blended into that silver trim that runs along the bottom. I would be curious to see this in some kind of sport trim with the chrome all blacked out and black 21-inch wheels. I think that would look pretty cool. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see that. Bright silver on the roof rails. You got your, like I said, that shiny bright metalwork top and bottom. Working towards the rear, coming around the back, you have such a unique style to the taillights. I love the way they extend up into that rear pillar area, flowing their way down. You got your T8 all-wheel drive Recharge, the Volvo badge, your XC90, and then working it all the way down, super clean, just like up front. One chrome strip, no exhaust, no fake exhaust, just a nice, smooth rear end. How many times have you heard that? But anyways, let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this XC90. All right, guys, if we're worried about the hood not opening all the way, it definitely goes further in the upright position than any other hood I think we have popped here on Rady's Rise. But underneath the hood, you get that NERF-approved engine cover. Believe it or not, this is for pedestrian safety. But underneath that NERF-style cover, what do we got going on? This is where you see some of the technology that Volvo is bringing. You have a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4. May not sound like a big deal, but when paired to the electric motors, it produces 455 horsepower, 523 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. You do have, of course, that lithium-ion battery. It's a 3.7 kilowatt per hour battery on board. 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Top speed is governed to 115 miles per hour, and the vehicle weighs 5,194 pounds. Now on pure EV, because this is a plug-in electric hybrid, you can do 36 miles on pure EV. When everything is said and done, combined MPGEs are 58. And then the vehicle can also tow up to 5,000 pounds. So really, as we go towards the future, I know it's all about pure electrification, but I'm a true believer that if you want to extend that range and you want to have some of that EV magic underneath the hood, I think plug-in electric hybrid is the way to go. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn this thing on and see it go. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge Ultimate. Yes, it's a mouthful, but definitely it brings plenty of power, technology, and wait until I show you around in here. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new luxury SUV in my life, and I'm not ready to go full electric. One of my friends was driving his Tesla, and he ran out of juice in the middle of nowhere, and a bunch of raccoons attacked his Tesla and just ripped it apart. So I'm liking what this Recharge brings to the table. How much is it? So MSRP, the way that this one is optioned with the air ride suspension, 21-inch wheels, and all the other goodies that I'm gonna show you, you're looking at right around $85,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the combo of the leather with that dark stained wood. No gloss veneer finish. The nice contrast stitching. Look at the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, aluminum grille speaker covers, finely crafted, 3 memory seat settings. You do have some cloth in the center, but it doesn't really bother me too much like in other vehicles, just because of the great use of stuff that they have around it, the leather, the wood, the aluminum. That door pocket, interesting shape and size. You could get, I would say, 4 of those Costco churros in there, and a nice big large bottle of chocolate milk to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, more of those great materials, the stitching, the dark stained wood. You got your Bowers & Wilkins center speaker, top and center of the dash. And then as you trickle down, where this comes up short compared to the new EX90 is this guy right here. you do have a 9-inch portrait style infotainment system. I don't mind it. Let me know how you feel about the size and if you think that this is dated. I just don't like the fact that there's not more physical buttons. So we have our Google Maps. If you want to get into your AC, you got to be pinpoint accurate with the finger. So you got your blower fan, you got your dual climate. We can get into our seats. Heated seats only, 3 stages and 3 stages of a heated steering wheel. I would like to see ventilated seats at $85,000. You hit the camera. There's our backup camera. No way of getting that whole backup camera to take up all the image, but you can do it with the 360 cam. And look at that, it even shows that sewer grate right there. That's where we heard some people living down there. It was kind of weird, but we helped them out. You hit the icon button, brings up all your different icons, including car status, let you know what your oil is, tire pressure. Hit this guy right here. This is where you get in your driver modes. And this is a zonk because it's way too many things to hit. But there's all your different modes, battery usage, the whole 9 yards. And then you just hit home and it takes you right back to home. Isn't that nice? Even tells you your in-car air quality is good. I like to feel safe and I like to be breathing good oxygen. That's what it's telling me. You do have some physical controls for the radio, your defrosters, and of course your hazards. But then you get to this dark crystal looking really good. This is going to control that 8-speed automatic. More the leather and the wood. Open up this guy. You got a nice little storage for, I would say, 2 containers of Tic Tacs. Close that up and then watch this. Take my garage door opener out. We got a 12 volt. You got a place for some Jolly Ranchers, sour apple, cherry, cinnamon flavor, 2 cup holders. This actually starts and stops the engine. It's interesting because it's not a button. You actually twist it. Electric e-brake. I'm going to slide this back so it looks nice and clean. Semi-soft. Open it up. You got a USB-C. You actually have 2 USB-Cs. And you could put, I would say, about 12 packs of Fleer baseball cards. And hopefully you got some from the 1980s because they used to put that gum in there that would disintegrate as soon as it touched your tongue. Keep those packages of cards in there. Maybe you got a Don Mattingly rookie card. It's worth some money, but you could keep them in there. Seats. There's that cloth material with the stitching. I'm not a big fan of cloth, but these are actually quite comfortable to sit in and unique to look at for sure. Power electric assist for the passenger and the driver, of course. And then I got plenty of headroom in here, and I'm 6 feet tall. I'm actually swimming in space. We have our power shade that slides back for our sunroof, and that panoramic glass roof goes all the way back. Interesting how you actually take your finger and you don't hit anything. You actually swipe. Nope, didn't see. Did it wrong. And then you just swipe everything. You got to swipe. It's like a swiping action. Swipe, swipe, swipe. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the digital dash and the steering wheel in this Volvo. Right, guys, we're behind the wheel of this XC90 Recharge Ultimate. One little thing I like to show you as we drop down is, of course, that aluminum sill. It does illuminate. Aluminum illuminates with the Recharge name every time you come in. Another little nice touch is, check this out. On the actual seatbelt buckle here, you have since 1959. That's how long Volvo has been around. So it's kind of cool to have that little touch there. As I told you before, plenty of room. Steering wheel is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. I do like the thickness of the wheel and the stitching. I'm not a big fan of the horn button. I just wish they would do something a little bit more luxurious to it. You do have gloss black on the buttons for the steering wheel, so that is going to give you some thumb fingerprints all over the place. And then you got that digital gauge display. I do love the way you could have the Google Maps in the center. You got your charge for your battery, your fuel, the whole 9 yards, and then you could change the information any which way that you want in this vehicle. It's really nice to have that accessibility to reset your trip odometer, all those types of things, 1, 2, 3, and you got a head-up display. So they got you covered there technology-wise. Let's get into the mid-row. I'm curious what this Volvo brings for the people sitting back there. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, mid-row time in here. And what I do like is they put AC vents right in the frame rail there for your mid-row passengers. Backs of the seat have this soft material, and you do have the pesky cargo net. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do have enough room, I would say, for 3 toaster strudels. I think that would be enough room in there for some strudels. You do have even more AC vents in the back of the command center. Touchscreen for your AC controls. Heated seats, of course, no ventilated seats since we didn't have those up front. And you do have 2 USB-Cs, which are really nice. In the back, you know, I did have to move the seats around a little bit. It's not as much room as I would have liked to have seen, but you do have the ability to slide the rear seat and, of course, recline the rear seat just a little bit, but I guess a little bit is better than none at all. And then pulling this bad boy down, you do get a soft armrest. Open that up, 2 cup holders, fold it back, flip it back. Why don't we go ahead? We got 1 more row to go. Let's see how much room is in the 3rd row of this XC90. Hey guys, backseat time, the 3rd row, and this is tight. So I could do a little short drive back here, but I'll be honest, I had to move this mid-row all the way forward to sit where I'm at, and you can see where my knees are at. I do have some space, but whoever's sitting in that mid-row is gonna be cramped. So I guess it's like a arm wrestle. Who's gonna get cramped for the next drive? Is it gonna be the people sitting in the mid-row, or is it gonna be people sitting in the 3rd row? I do like the way they have the AC vents positioned nicely, and you do get a good-sized quarter window so that you don't feel like you're in a cave. But these seats feel more like jump seats on a plane rather than seats that I would want to take a long 300-mile family drive in, especially with the range extendability of this being a plug-in electric hybrid. Some of the other things I'm going to have Steven show you once we go in the cargo area. Like, we have these cool little storage areas and cup holders, but it's so tight back here, Steven can't fit. So let's get to the cargo area so we can see how much stuff we could stuff in this side of this XC90, and then of course show off what's in the 3rd row. Let's get to it. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Real simple, just hit that button. Nice electric assist. I wanted to show off how much cargo space there is with that 3rd row up. So what you're looking at is basically 11 cubic feet of space with the seats up. Not a ton, but it is nice that they give you a little bit of a nook area here. That's where you can slide in your box of Twinkies. On the passenger side, you do have a 12-volt, and you do have a nice little area for a 1-pound bag of Twizzlers, and we have our air suspension where you could actually raise and lower. Look at this, I'm actually lowering the rear of the car just by pressing that button. Now, if you lift this up, you'll see you have your charging accessories underneath. Kind of nice that they have that conveniently placed. And then to put the seats down, it's so simple. I could do it blindfolded with both hands tied behind my back. 1, 2, 3, 4, there you go. Now what we did was we just made it almost 37 cubic feet of space. I'll have Steven go ahead and show off where those armrests are and where those little Skittles compartments are for your 3rd row passengers. They got rear AC vents. The only challenge is no connectivity back here. But with that 3rd row down, like I said, you're looking at 37 cubic feet of space. If you put down the mid row, you have 85.4 cubic feet of space. And remember, we have that lithium ion battery pack on board, and we still got a pretty freaking good area of space for your stuff. But you know what? This thing has 455 horsepower. Let's go ahead, let's go on throttle and see how this XC90 drives. All right, guys, we're in this Volvo XC90 Recharge Ultimate, and right away, what you're gonna like is how the interior really wraps around you very well. I do really think that it's smartly designed to make you feel very comfortable, but also supportive from the seats and just the layout of how everything is in the vehicle. Infotainment system, like I said, it might be dated size-wise, but it is very intuitive, and you got the Google Maps, which is really nice. I'm gonna go ahead, of course, if we're gonna do something, we gotta go into full power mode. That's what I want. We're going power, and that's gonna give us that 455 horsepower and that very, very quick 0 to 60 for a vehicle this size. Everything else, like I said, the materials are great. I like the way the seat controls really allow you to get positioned very nicely. And if you look, you could actually pull up the seat on the screen to really allow you to showcase what's going on with the seats between the two front seats up front, adjusting that lower lumbar, adjusting obviously the side bolstering, the hammy extension, all of those pieces of the puzzle very easily. And then we're right back. You get into your air quality, which we showed you, and then we're right back to our Google Maps. But driving the vehicle very smooth and very quiet in here. That's another thing you're gonna love, is just how quiet the interior is. 8-speed shifts very nicely, very smooth. And then wait until we go on throttle. That's gonna be the best part. Hey guys, I'm ready to do some on throttle. What's cool is you actually have one pedal operation. I have neither foot on the brake, and we're gonna go on throttle in power mode. Are you ready? Because I'm definitely ready. On throttle, here we go. So you're definitely getting that acceleration from, of course, the electric motors. It's surprising because it doesn't feel like a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine is underneath the hood. Now, I'll be honest, when you do go on throttle, you do hear the sound of that 4-cylinder turbo. I'll do it again just to let you hear it. I'm gonna be quiet for a split second at least. On throttle. So just a little bit, it's nothing too crazy, but definitely with the air ride suspension, you can see how that weight transfer occurs, but it's getting the power to the ground so seamlessly and smooth that that is one feature that I know people that live up north that get a ton of snow, that's one thing you're really gonna dig about this XC90 is that all-wheel drive. But other than that, very, very smooth. The thing is that if you're looking for more interior passenger volume, you might have to look somewhere else. It is gonna be a little tighter overall. If you're just gonna use the mid-row most of the time, then I say it's not a big deal, because you'll have that third row down, that'll maximize some more cargo space, and your mid-row passengers will be able to put their seats all the way back. But getting out onto the highway, this is really where this thing excels, because having that plug-in component really is going to give you that nice range extendability, less stops for fuel, and overall it's a really pleasant vehicle to be inside of. Using the AC controls, like I said, you're just going to have to be very pinpoint accurate with the index finger. So just something to realize while you're driving. It does take a little bit of attention off the road for you to mess around with what's going on. But even with the large 21-inch wheels, the air ride suspension is going to smooth everything out, and it really soaks up all the bumps super nicely. You got, of course, all the safety features, your blind spot monitoring, your lane keep assist, emergency brake assist, and visibility is really, really nice as well. One thing I like that Volvo does is, let's say nobody's sitting in the third row, but you have the third row seats up, you can actually hit this button in the lower right-hand corner. That opens up the glove compartment, but there's another button that you can actually get into the infotainment system that actually folds the rear headrest, so that you don't have to, like, say if it's bothering your vision a little bit, you can actually fold the rear headrest to get that out of the way right from the driver's seat. But it's definitely one of those SUVs that you want to get behind the wheel of, especially if you haven't driven a Volvo at all or in a very, very long time. It's going to be interesting to see what that XC90 brings coming up for model year 2024 with Volvo's first ever fully electric SUV. All right, guys, one more time on throttle. Here we go, on throttle. So merging into traffic, you're gonna have no issues with this SUV. And the fact that you could do well over 30 miles of pure EV driving is a nice option to have. Nice ace to keep up your sleeve, especially if you only live 10 miles from work. You'd be able to do the commute We're not even using a drop of fuel. But yet, when you go for those longer drives, you don't have to worry about finding a charging station. That's the thing that I love about these plug-in electric hybrids. It really does give you the best of both worlds. But hopefully, this XC90 Recharge Ultimate review has really kind of touched on all the aspects you wanted to see. We're gonna get back to where it all began and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here on Rady's Rides. I definitely got to thank Tyler and the rest of the crew over at Volvo USA for allowing us access to this XC90 Recharge Ultimate press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you happy with what's currently available, or are you gonna wait for that EX90, which is coming within the next year? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Of course, we got to give it up to the guy who electrifies everybody's life, especially the person in his life that are closest to him. Show Steven some love in that comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.